You want to do something weird? Do some weird bullshit that I can play before the intro to get people to watch the video?
Oh, genius. All right. What's up, gamer girls and guys? I'm here.
I have fucking glue all over my fingers.
I'm your host.
Look at the glue and
holding Xavier's
Be careful.
hand.
No, stop.
What if we just glued hands together?
I don't want to do that.
And then we just couldn't remove them.
I don't want to glue parts of me to parts of you.
And cue intro sequence.
That makes 3 of us. Huh?
Cue intro sequence.
Oh, we're playing. That's right. I chose to be Cuphead, not Mugman.
Basic ass bitch.
Hey, fuck you, man.
Hey, fuck you.
Look at it. He's so cute. Okay,
it's gonna stick
Mugman.
way better now because it's got. I put a piece of foam inside that, so it's.
Are you gonna paint over that to make it?
What?
Are you gonna paint over it or something?
No, it's just supposed to be a white circle.
But it looks clearly like.
So, audience.
Well, I'm gonna put like a little thing of foam around it.
Shall be listening to this in
2018.
2018.
I tricked you.
20.
Oh, we got you. You got you good.
I got you good.
You got you good.
I got you good, bro.
You got you.
There's so much
Anyway.
fucking glue on my hand.
We watched Star Trek, the motion picture, which is a picture that moves.
It was really good.
It took us 6 hours to watch it.
Yeah, because Josh here.
Interpret that how you will.
Travel forward with us, 300 years into the future, to confront the greatest mystery ever to threaten mankind. We are aboard a huge starship called the Enterprise. This is the return of Captain Kirk.
An alien object of unbelievable destructive power is less than 3 days away from this planet.
Mr. Spock,
I offer my services as science officer.
Dr. McCoy, Scotty, and joining them on their mission, Commander Will Decker and Navigator Ilea. This, then, is the epic journey of the Starship Enterprise, traveling to the outer limits of time and space to challenge a vast, living machine of destruction. The human adventure is just beginning. Star Trek, the motion picture.
Josh here had a bit of an interlude where he stopped watching this movie, and then he watched John Wick 3, and then he watched this. And of course, he obviously liked John Wick 3 better.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I don't think that's really a fair comparison. It's like, apples to oranges.
Do you like The Raid or do you like Space Odyssey?
Okay, so Xavier, I'm assuming a lot of people whom is subscribed to you and then subscribed to me because you told them to subscribe to you or to me.
You want to take this one from the top, buddy?
No.
Okay.
I'm assuming a lot of the people who watch my channel probably haven't seen this movie, Star Trek the Motion Picture.
Unless they're those actually folks you're always telling me about.
Oh yeah, of course. But I appreciate your viewership. But for those who have not yet watched, I would appreciate it very much if you, Xavier, would do me the honor of telling our wonderful audience, while Josh plays Cuphead, of the plot of this movie.
Good thing, too.
Just the setup or the whole thing?
What?
Just the setup or the whole thing?
As much as you feel, how about you do the setup, and then without any comments from either of us, and then we will proceed from there with comments.
Okay.
Go.
Alright, so Star Trek the Motion Picture, it picks up where the TV show left off, with all the characters just kind of doing their own thing a long while after they've succeeded in their 5-year space journey. Everyone's, moved on to bigger and better things, but they're all kind of a little bit missing each other and the ship.
Feeling out of place.
And, they're just kind of like, man, I wish I was back on a spaceship with my bros. I wish some kind of big crisis would happen that would force them to be like, yo, we need you guys back.
And then
a big crisis happens, and so basically a big space cloud with a scary spaceship in it that eats planets just starts getting closer and closer to Earth, and nothing can stop it. And they're like, we should send those guys who fought stuff like this, like,
on the weekly
for
basis.
1 hour every week for 60 weeks in a row. We should get those guys and ask them to help deal with whatever
and
this is.
then we assemble our crew.
They assemble the fucking Space Vengers.
We assemble Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. And they sit in very 70s looking rooms talking about
As opposed
stuff.
to very 60s looking rooms.
Uh-huh. And in very 70s looking clothing, like a lot of open shirts showing hairy chests.
Everyone's really fucking hairy.
Eh.
Especially fucking Picard. How about that? Is that
Kirk.
better?
Looks better.
Or Kirk, sorry.
I do like that.
I wish
I'm
it was
sorry.
I'm sorry. I
Respect
wish
the lore.
I
Stop.
wish it was Picard, so he's in my brain.
Oh, Matt. Oh,
Because you like Picard a lot better?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I connect with him a little bit more because him and I have had the same name at one point.
I will agree in a certain perspective. I get it.
No, I was explaining it to this normie here.
Oh yeah, this normie here.
Hey guys, I'm a normie.
You know,
I've died twice in Cuphead.
I think
You're supposed to beat Cuphead on your first try without
Okay.
dying.
so. Xavier,
Yes.
I will tell you something that I want to see your reaction to this.
Okay.
You know how much of a Star Trek fan I am, right? You know that I am a huge Star Trek fan, that I love Star Trek, and I will talk to you about it all day. I am basically Mike's Classic, right?
Yes.
This was my first ever exposure to Star Trek, this movie.
How old were you?
Not old enough.
8, probably?
I can't imagine any 8-year-old in the universe except David watching this movie and going, "This is awesome."
Listen, I watched this movie with a friend of mine at my neighbor's house.
If I was 8 years old and I saw this movie, I
I would have
be
fallen
like-
asleep. Yeah.
I would have stayed awake for it. I probably wouldn't have. I would have respected it, but I probably wouldn't have asked to see it again.
I don't
which is
think
what happened with a lot of movies of this caliber when I was 8 years old.
I
I,
don't
saw
think-
them and I was like, okay,
I might
Not
have
for
seen it
me.
earlier than 8,
Oh my
actually.
god.
And
is that
I don't
better?
think,
Come on, are you gonna show
Although-
more? Try
It looks
to
a
be
lot
fair,
better.
when I watched this movie as a kid,
I mean,
I never actually got through it all the way when I
need
watched
some
it for the
paint,
first
man,
time.
or something. I don't know.
So,
I got an idea.
But I mean, I understand that. I wouldn't have been able to myself either. I don't know, but I am an entirely different person.
yeah.
It's
True.
not really my bag to be playing.
Security scan. One word. Identity, Starfleet inaccurate.
Permission to come aboard, sir.
Granted, sir. Granted.
So, it's also the movie that Gene Roddenberry had the most creative influence over.
My oath of celibacy is on record, Captain. May I assume my duties?
Valiance.
Like, for years and years and years, they were working on a continuation of Star Trek. And it went from being a movie to a TV show to a movie again. And then the mutant monster product that came out of it and went way over budget was this.
Which was super
about that?
cool, by the way.
Uh-huh.
What if I put one of these on either side?
Well, that might
And
actually, yeah, that would make it.
Perhaps as a
Definitely
product
draw
of
attention away
its
from the-
such delayed development cycle, it doesn't feel like a movie of its time because it came out a year or two after Star Wars, if I'm right. But it seems more like 2001: A Space Odyssey.
It feels more like a 60s movie.
Exactly.
Which
And
is not a problem. You
Sorry.
died in the Cuphead.
And that's what's kind of cool about it, which is that
Where'd that black
it's
thing go?
kind of it's like a
there you
preview of what science fiction could have been if there hadn't been Star Wars. Which is,
There's still movies like this. There's really heady, boring, long movie. Like, one of my favorite movies ever is Alien. There's no space battles in that.
true, but they're the exception.
Yeah, like, there's a lot more adventure sci-fi than there is just, like, think things through, talk about philosophy sci-fi. Which still
speaking of
exists,
which-
thankfully.
Let's talk about that, because there's a lot of sitting in rooms talking about things, sitting in rooms looking at things.
While we were watching today, I made a joke. David, What if I just made a cut of all the reaction shots of people looking surprised in this movie or like not knowing what to say? All the shots with no dialogue. And I started counting them and they were so funny to me. Every time it cut to a shot of someone just going... And then cut to another shot of someone going...
I mean, they made sense, I guess. Like, what would happen is that something emotional would happen.
Or something, or some...
Someone would make a decision.
How about that?
And then,
Or
like...
some special effect would happen.
Yeah,
Are you going to be able to tell at a distance? That
Okay,
this is a bottle
but the
cap?
special effect shit pissed me off. Because, like, there'd be a special effect, alright, pan to 3 characters. Alright, new special effect of the exact same style. New reaction.
You're right.
There was a lot of stuff about that film that was overbearing. Pacing?
Okay. Pacing. True. I want to ask
Can
you...
you tell from a distance? It's a bottle cap.
No, I mean, that's why I was happy I was playing, because at a glance, I don't really think...
I want to ask you a
Does
question.
that look like a bottle cap?
Josh.
Yeah?
From your
What do you think this
perspective?
movie is about? Not what happens in the movie. What is it about?
I can answer that.
You can, but I want Josh to answer
Oh,
first.
about, like... I mean, personally, I thought it was more about, like... the parts of what it means to be a human. You know, emotion and, like... And that there's stuff beyond thinking and logic. Which is real sweet. That's why I thought the film was real cute. That's what I thought.
Okay, Xavier, what do you think?
It's about God.
What does God need with a starship?
No.
No?
No, I'm just kidding. Well, I mean, sort of. It's about trying to find your creator. In a
No, I'd say kind of, but
It's 2 on the nose for me.
it's more about finding your purpose. It's about what is life about.
can those not go hand in hand?
Because okay, so we're gonna go into spoilers here because the big threat that goes and attacks the enemy is a guy called V'ger,
I intend to calculate thruster ignition and acceleration rate to coincide with the opening of the V'ger orifice.
which
It's a
reveals
big fucking space robot
it's
monster.
a space robot that was created out of a Earth space probe, and it developed consciousness over its space journey, and now it wants to find its creator because its creator has become for him the manifestation of the idea because it's gathered all knowledge possible within this universe. So it wants to know what there is beyond simply knowing things. What is my life about once I know everything? And the answer is just... And then that's what he does, is that he becomes more human and has emotions and irrationality that allows him to find its own purpose.
so hard to fucking press this button to pay.
And that's what the character arcs of Kirk and Spock are. Like, Spock feels alone and isolated and purposeless with just logic. And, Kirk feels alone given that he's just, sitting in his office doing nothing.
His space office just masturbating sadly.
Because he's not fucking those space chicks anymore.
He's not being able to get some green tang anymore, so he's just like, he's remembering the good old days, the glory days when Spock was his fucking wingman. They would go to space planets and just get laid every day.
That sounds exactly like how college has been so far.
It's just you and
Someone,
you and an emotionless friend who just goes, I find this illogical. Just go on fucking beer cruises.
yeah, and sticking their dick in a random alien bitches. That's
They don't speak English.
they don't speak
They
English.
still speak my language.
Hey,
Oh, whoa!
Wasn't that a song? That was a song.
Is that a song?
That was a
I was
song by
just,
Jason Derulo.
I was just ad-libbing. Really.
Wait, I think so.
Yes. There
Yeah?
was.
Am I correct?
Yes, it was awful.
Oh,
Wasn't? I mean, was it?
Yes, it was.
there's so much glue on my hands. I'm trying to
Shitty.
pull it off now.
Okay, so
Permanently calloused my fingers. I have no fingerprints now. I could commit so many killings.
So your favorite... So, Xavier, since you've seen other Star Trek movies, what do you think about this one compared to those?
I would say this one definitely is the one that has the most to say.
Mm-hmm.
While as the other ones are a little bit more like family-friendly, fun, small adventures. I would say that in spite of this one probably being the smartest of the movies, it also has the least amount of stuff to put into the running time. Because while those other movies necessarily aren't quite as heady and have as much of a philosophical thing to throw at you, they have way more shit happen. It's a lot of just action adventure, throwing shit around, fighting guys.
There's more character drama too.
Yeah, for sure. There was
'cause the
definitely,
characters in this
a lot
one
about the characters.
I mean, they really was just kind of quietly sad. All the characters.
To relearn
Yeah,
the character.
there's a lot of like people just talking in rooms, getting mildly annoyed with each other instead of
tackling each other
cue
and punching
clip
each other.
from The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
It works no matter which Khan you use.
Khan! There's two Khans.
I just remembered Into Darkness Exists.
I'm sorry. I was like referencing that one from the start, and then you like just didn't acknowledge it because you didn't want to think about it. I think that looks pretty good for what it's supposed to represent, right?
Yeah.
You know what I think would be really funny is if anybody in our audience, I think Diego talked about this. He really likes the new Star Trek movies. I want somebody whose only exposure to the Star Trek franchise is the original movies to watch... the new movies, the new trilogy with J.J. Abrams, right? I want them to watch this movie and then tell me what they think. That'd be so interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. They'd probably be really confused.
Yeah.
About, not like confused about the topic itself, because, I don't know. It may have seemed heavy-handed, but it wasn't all that complicated, really. Like, I don't know if I could follow it. I don't think I know what's going to have trouble, but...
Because, like, the new movies are self-contained movies. You don't need to watch the show to watch them.
Interpret the...
But, like, this one, I feel like it relies on you knowing the characters a little bit more. Especially, like, in the beginning, you don't really know that much about who Kirk is. You just sort of know him from the show. A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I still got it, though. Like,
you still get who he is and what he wants, but, like, you kind of get the feeling that it's a rushed introduction because we're going, like, yeah, you know who these characters are. So, the guy who directed this movie is Robert Wise. He directed West Side Story, the movie. He also directed The Andromeda Strain and The Haunting. So he's got let's just say he's had a very eclectic film career.
The hills are alive with the sound of...
It's good to keep yourself experimenting and trying new things.
Exactly. And this was the one project that was a nightmare for him to work on, because basically on this film, nothing worked right.
As that tends to happen.
Yeah, because this was a project that had been gestating for years and years and years, and those just, like, never go right.
I mean, it turned out well enough, I think. Like,
well, behind the scenes, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Turned out better than it could have. It could have
Yeah.
been one of those development hell things where, like if you've ever heard
train wreck.
Duke Nukem Forever, a game that was in development for 14 years, and then it finally comes out, and it's like a 10%, like, out of 100. It's a mess. No one wants to play it or even touch it, or no one wants to claim ownership for it.
Hey, you could be an Anthem.
Oh yeah, Anthem.
Dude,
You could
but, like, the
make
people
that in like 6 months and then be like, it came out good.
It just sucks, for those guys. Development hell is really hard to talk about, especially on video games, because I don't know how it works in the movie industry, but I doubt that in the movie industry, you're working on one project for, like, one movie, and then suddenly like some bigwig just turns around and says, "Nope, you're gonna work on this project now." Like, when does that happen? I don't know. Does that happen?
They'll just take you off a movie and put you on a different.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it used to happen that way, but it doesn't happen anymore because the people who work on movies are free agents. They used to be like contracted employees in the classic studio era, but now they're not. So,
well, I don't know. I just think that has a lot to do with when you're comparing video games to movies.
well, I'm just saying that they both had a long, like Anthem and this movie had long pre-production phase, where development held different ideas, different stories. It would be really interesting, I think, to do an episode on the future on the development of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, like promoting myself here, that Golden Compass video that none of you watched. But just kidding. If you liked it, I thought I appreciate your viewership. And
I fucking hate myself. It's such an easy game.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Like, I think that there's definitely a lot of factors that play into it, and there's a lot of stuff that can be interesting. But
so
in that term,
you haven't talked that much. What do you think of the movie?
Yeah, give us your thoughts.
Okay, so if I'm doing do you want my methodical opinion first, or do you want my just like straightforward, like Josh's brain, automatic?
Whatever you think would make more interesting conversation.
Well, fuck. I don't know. I feel like I was bored the entire time. But,
Okay.
But it doesn't. That doesn't really. I don't think that.
That means it's bad.
I don't think that it means it's bad. I just think that like it definitely loses a lot of a lot of things that I know would click with a lot of people for me, but like it still doesn't lose its value per se.
I mean, I guess I have a bit more patience when it comes to movies than you do, because I've sat through fucking Solaris. I actually liked the slower pace. I like movies. This is kind of like Dark City, I guess. Dark City. You haven't seen it.
I have.
I like
thought
movies that I can just sit in and soak up the atmosphere.
You can just turn your brain off and enjoy it, bro.
Well, that's the
I'm
thing.
just kidding.
And I mean, I don't know. I've watched a lot of garbage. And I think I do have the patience for things like this too, which is why I was able to sit through this thing.
True.
I don't think it's a particularly bad film either.
But were you bored or were you just?
I was massively bored.
Okay.
That was my thing. It was just.
Tell me when.
As soon as you mentioned the fanboy shot.
Okay.
As soon as you mentioned the fanboy shot, I was like, all right, I know what this movie's gonna try to be. And then I encountered that for the entirety of the rest of the film.
So, for context in the audience, the fanboy shot is when the new Enterprise is being introduced for the first time,
Just
and
fucking
they have
spaceship porn.
the music swell, and
which is cool. Like, I get it. I love the appeal.
Music.
It makes sense to me.
I agree.
So, which is why, like, I didn't find it insulting or anything.
I feel like that scene was a little bit self-indulgent. Now, let me ask the opposite question: if you did get interested, did you get interested?
Absolutely never. No, I'm just kidding. I think as soon as they finally stopped just floating into the V'ger orifice thingamajig for
and they started
for
doing
40 minutes, they're just
happened for so
they're just flying
long.
forward, going, "What the fuck is this?"
Fucking coin bullshit. All right, sorry.
But they're just flying forward. What the hell is going on around here?
I mean, okay, I haven't seen
This is gonna be
2001:
fun
A
for you
Space
to
Odyssey,
edit.
which
Just
is
get
real
people
sad.
putting in the clips, and they just keep going forward. They keep
But-
going forward. They keep going through little holes and openings, getting
just gonna let 'em
further
talk.
Through
and further,
orifices.
through more V'ger orifices, and
guys
then
are
they get
disgusting.
inside,
Keep going through one, and then
two.
another,
Ah,
and
fucking
then another,
and then another, and then they finally get
and
inside
they
all the
finally
way.
get to the V'gerna.
And then they get to the V'gerna, and then they
It's
press
been
the,
quite
and
a
then they
journey.
wipe off the thing, and they're like, Voyager! Oh my god! And that's when I'm really like, that was
Okay.
cool.
I intend to calculate thruster ignition and acceleration rate to coincide with the opening of the V'ger orifice. The V'ger orifice. The V'ger orifice. The V'ger orifice.
So I feel I agree with you because I feel like it's a roughly 130-minute movie, right?
Yeah.
I think the last 45 minutes is where everything happens, and it's like good stuff. It is really
it
it's
just
interesting, but
Took
it takes
too long to get there.
Even
Yeah,
that
I
could have
agree.
been condensed to 10 minutes. I don't know. Definitely, like, I know-
You could almost make a cut of this movie that has all the same stuff in it, just like faster paced, and you would lose no plot.
I think there's a director's cut of this movie out there somewhere.
That's shorter.
It might be.
When does that ever happen? When's there a director's cut that has
Yeah,
less,
right.
that has less stuff?
as the director, I wanted to include less of my art.
As the director, I wanted to include less long scenes of Captain Kirk going,
Oh. Wow. Fascinating.
So I'd like to.
and then scenes of Spock going.
Fucking half the cast was like that, too. It's really funny.
Okay.
Oh, I gotta jump over
It's
the
a
frog.
film about subtlety.
Ready. Ah! All right.
It's a film about family, and really,
It's
that's
a film
what makes
about
it so
family.
special.
It's a film about family.
Stasis!
Wait, how do I... Oh, I have to parry the thing. That's right.
I'm making a glove for a
Right
thing. You like it?
Ah, shit! All
It's
right.
gonna go on the rest of a big costume. It's
Carry
gonna
that
it's
thing.
gonna look cool.
So
Oh, fuck! Shit.
I want
I
to
need to
ask.
make this into like a bracelet on this glove.
I want to ask another interesting question.
It might be too tight, so
I think it might work. Here,
Well,
you gotta
it's
show
just
me a
like-
sec.
I want to
Continue.
ask another question.
Okay, shoot us. Hit us with that question. Shoot me
Slap
right
my
in the
ass,
fucking
just
face
like that
with
frog
you
slapped
were-
mine.
Kill me with these scissors.
Okay. If you
Like in
were,
that movie by Jordan Peele. I'm just kidding.
if you were to imagine that there are no other movies in this series, if you were to write a sequel to this, what would it be like?
Jesus, it could honestly. It feels like there's so much to do with it. Okay. Because it tackles. It like takes a cast and crew that's like clearly just journeying through space. Because that's
Yeah.
what I assume Star Trek is. Like they just journey
The
through
wagon
space.
train to the space.
Yeah,
stars.
and they just do shit. And then they're like, oh, this made me realize something. And then they go to the next place. Same thing.
yeah.
And like this thing was all about human condition in the first
Yeah.
place. I guess that's not accurate. What the hell does human condition mean? It's about humans and how they work.
It's,
Yeah,
a,
like
it's
human
about
condition
finding
a
your
little bit. Like,
purpose.
yeah, it's a little bit. Of
So like
human
yeah, like
condition.
it
I
had
think
to do with
that's a fair
purpose
term
and
to
like
use.
You could read it as an atheist manifesto because the
I just don't. I don't think that's fair to Christians either. All right, like,
You could read
I'll
it.
hop off the religious thing really fast, but
Okay.
like all I
Well,
was trying to
the
say,
creator of Star Trek is a super hardcore atheist.
I believe
He
that.
is.
But my point is that like I think that like even
could.
even Christians can find that.
Yeah.
You know,
So tell us your sequel
Catholics,
idea or
Muslims.
anything. Do you or
if I
what would you
could-
imagine it would be like? What do you imagine a sequel would be like? Just tell us that.
you would hit. I think it'd be the exact same thing. You know, it's a journey through space to another place. You
Yeah.
know, I'm sure like any other Star Trek episode, except this time you'd find something else regarding humans. Maybe like too much attachment, or like you know, instead of empowering others, you only empower yourself, and like that's a problem a lot of humans have. Like really, you can
Okay.
do anything like that.
So a question. So
Thematically.
follow-up question. Since you said the word episode, do you think this felt like a movie or an episode of TV show that was stretched out into a movie?
But it did feel like an hour-long Star Trek episode.
That's what I think.
Okay.
With special effects that were supposed to like make it feel like it wasn't supposed to last.
Cinematic.
Yeah, but it just didn't. It
Okay.
didn't hit that nail on the head.
That's fair. I will agree with that. And okay, so I will explain now that we've gotten onto that how you could read this as an atheist manifesto, because I will lead away from autobiographical details on Gene Roddenberry, but you look at it this way: V'ger, the robot, is looking for his creator, right?
and then doesn't find it.
And then he doesn't find it.
Right.
And
So then he breaks.
No, and he rejects the answer because the answer does not provide the meaning to his existence. that he wants, right? Mm-hmm. So then his answer to that is to become more human, to become more flawed, and just experiment and try new things, and just become more himself in a new way, and to evolve.
Okay, I can
so
get it.
That's the Atheist Manifesto, because he's saying that the meaning of life is not found in the idea of God as such, but the humanity of a person, of finding things and doing things and being so human. And that's part of
So basically,
Gene
you have to grow up by not believing in God.
Kind of, because that's Gene Roddenberry's sort of humanist philosophy that he espouses, especially later in stuff like The Next Generation, which is a philosophy where it's an atheist humanism, where it's just more about the ideas of just the human condition and focusing on that over, sort of facile God and all that stuff. Now, I will say, I think that this wasn't as heavy-handed about this stuff as, like a lot of other...
As Roddenberry is just in real life.
Yes.
Well,
And that's one of my criticisms of Star Trek.
You gotta wonder how much of that was another person on set going, Gene, you gotta take it back a little. This is getting really preachy. Mm-hmm. You sound like one of those fucking... It didn't exist at the time, but like someone probably told him, this is starting to sound like God's not dead, like, or
this
whatever.
Is starting to sound like YouTube atheism.
Yeah, right. Like you're getting
Reddit atheism.
Oh no, please.
It's a little worse.
Yeah. So
you're starting to sound like r/atheism.
I am big brain.
And Gene Roddenberry fucking tips up his
fedora.
He tips up his fedora and goes, "Excuse me."
You guys ever been on r/brain cells?
No.
Oh my god, it's hilarious. It's just this incel board where people just like cry that they're never gonna get laid, but they're super smart too. Mm-hmm. It's super funny.
They want to pat themselves on the back.
No. That's the fucking scariest shit ever. It's hilarious. It's not ironic at all. Everyone that lives on that fucking board is like, no one's ever gonna touch me.
No one's gonna ever diddle my fiddle.
Yeah, dude. Man, I'd cry.
Hey kids,
too
you want to know a secret to getting laid?
Have a girlfriend.
Clean your room.
Here's how you get a girlfriend
or boyfriend.
True.
Here's how you get a girlfriend or boyfriend. You want to get some sweet person butt. You want to get all up on some booty. Here's how you do it, okay? 1.
You kiss the girl.
You be very respectful of people's boundaries. And when they tell you things, you...
Oh, fuck! It read me. Continue. Sorry.
When they tell you things, you keep it in mind and actually pay attention to it and respect those things. Like, if someone says, I don't want to do something, don't ask them to do it again.
I feel called out.
2.
We're all called out by that.
2.
Me especially.
I love you.
I've been molested by everyone here.
What? Fuck off!
2. Okay, alright. Shower regularly.
Yes.
Please.
Even if you're a fat guy, you can be really fat and girls will still want you.
As long as you
There's
smell
lots
nice.
of girls. Girls are actually, like, more often lately, I'm realizing, totally into dad bods.
So, I think we've talked all we can about the motion picture, so let's wrap it up. I personally really like it. I like these sort of experience movies. I like to have... I think that
You like to have fun.
what the cinematic form can do that no other medium really does, except for perhaps video games, is create a kind of atmosphere, a visual environment for you to create, and I just love drinking that up. And I love this movie because of that, and I think that each time I watch it, I learn to appreciate it a little bit more. You might not like it the first time around, but give it a shot. It's a good... I like it.
It's a really calm movie. It's something to put on.
In the background, at least. But
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's definitely stuff that you have to pay attention to.
I was
If you're
going to
into
say
that kind
it's
of thing,
something
you
to
definitely
put
have
on
pay
during
attention.
a rainy, cold day.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's really just like calm outside. There's nothing going on. It's like sitting by the fire and just reading a good book.
You know what I said at the beginning, right? Or when the trippy 10-minute scene came on?
What
Take a tab of LSD.
I'm
not condoning drugs.
If you're high as fuck, this movie's
Shrooms are
probably
legal
even better.
in Denver, Colorado.
Are they? Oh
They're
my God.
decriminalized.
They're
not legal.
decriminalized, so you can't buy them, but you can take them.
Oh no.
You cannot buy them, you can't sell them, you can't distribute, you can't do anything.
But you won't be put in prison for owning them.
Exactly.
Goodbye. I think I'm sorry. I'm too tired, and I'm like really.
Are you staying here tonight?
I'm also having a huge allergic reaction to your animals, so I can't.
Oh, relatable.
I can't summon enough energy for like a fun, wacky goodbye. So
wacky outro. Sorry, I don't know if I helped. Probably didn't.
It's better than
I love how all of my friends are allergic to cats. The one animal I have 3 of.
I love your cats. They're so cute.
They love you too. They cuddle up to you as much as possible.
I know, they're so cute.
Same, cracks me up.
But they hurt me, and the pain is worth it because they're so cute. And with that note, we're gonna end. Goodbye.
The suffering's worth it.
The suffering.
Just remember it, kids. Suffering is always worth it.